Hi everyone, welcome to BIMKLUE REVIT tutorial. In this series of video tutorial, we're going to show you how to use Revit to model a small apartment in terms of structure, architecture, and MEP services step by step without any charges. Okay, so since this is a very small project, so we are giving away to our students as a knowledge sharing. Okay, so as usual, we will have our mouse click indication here. Whenever I click or type in a keyboard here, it will show up here for your clearer understanding. Okay, so without any further delay, let's start with our tutorial here. Before that, we're going to separate this tutorial to a several session. So if you're following us step by steps and series by series, you will be surely gain some knowledge on Revit modeling. Okay, the version of the Revit that we are going to use is Revit 2021. First of all, we're going to create our new project. We can click on this new here, and then we going to start with a metric architecture templates. Okay, if you are used to imperial units, you can start with the imperial template, but I'm going to start with the architecture templates. Okay, then we click on OK. Okay, then this is the startup screen of Revit. So we have our properties here and project browser here. If you can't see anything here, view tabs here, sorry, in user interface, and then you can enable your project browser or hide your project browser from here. Okay, so this is the normal user interface that we're going to use. Then once we have this, then we need to go to insert to import our CAD file into our Revit here as a base for us to develop our model. Okay, then we're going to click on import. Then we find our CAD file. I'm going to CAD file, base plan, set it as center to center, and then we note that this Revit file in millimeters. You can choose 2 millimeters, or you can just leave it, let it be auto detect. Okay, then we click on open. So this is our CAD file imported here. So we can start our modeling from here. So what's the difference of the link CAD file or import CAD file? Import CAD file is allow you to import the CAD file here, and then the further changes on the AutoCAD file here, it won't be reflected to here. If we use link CAD information, link CAD function here, so any information or any changes in the CAD file, it will be reflected to Revit. Once you have closed the Revit and then reopen the Revit, then it will be shown here, the changes of the CAD file. Okay, so since we are not going to do any changes on the CAD file, we're going to maintain this CAD file here. So first of all, you can always set up your grid line as usual. You can start with your grid line here, go to the architecture tab, and then you can see there's a panel here called grid. Okay, you can start with your grid line here. Just click on somewhere here, and then this is grid line number 1. I'm going to place it at the middle of the wall here. just click on this grid line here. Use the move tool to move the grid line to the middle of the wall. Okay, this is your first grid line. Next, I'm going to create my second grid line. I can use the copy function here. Select this grid line, then copy, and we can copy this grid line here to somewhere here. Okay, then you can see the bubble here from 1, it automatically updated to grid line number 2. Okay, so if you want to create more grid lines, the bubble also will be automatically updated. Okay, so for this small project, I'm going to use 2 grid lines will be enough. Just delete this, then we stick to 2 grid lines here. So we move to the center of the wall, because normally the grid line is referred to the center of the wall. Okay, so if you cannot snap here, then we can just simply draw a line by using the modify, insert, annotate. You can draw annotate here, then detail line, draw a line here. Now you can snap your line to the middle. Okay, so move the grid, place it to the middle, and delete the reference line. So this is my second grid line. Next, I'm going to create my third grid lines, which is the horizontal grid lines. So we can start with, go to the architecture tabs again, then grid. You can draw a grid line here. So this is grid line number 4. Or you can change the grid line naming to A. Just select this grid line, and then at the properties panels here, you're going to clean A. Okay, so when I copy this grid line to above, it will be updated as a grid line B. So similarly, if I copy more, it will become C, D, and E, and so forth. Okay, however, I'm going to be sufficient for these 4 grid lines for this layout. Okay, then once again, I'm going to move this grid line to the center of the wall, and go to the annotate tab, and then just draw a detail line here for us to snap to the center of the wall. Or without this, we also can select this grid line and then move it and then snap it to the center of the wall. Okay, for this one, I'm going to move it up to here. Okay, you can dimension the grid line as usual. Go to annotate, you can use align to dimension your grid line. So this is your first layout without anything. Then next one, I'm going to the north elevation. So this is my datum line. So floor to floor height, I'm going to choose set to 3200. So just click on this datum line, and then from the property panels here, you can click on the height elevation of the grid lines. Okay, or alternatively, you can copy this grid line here, datum line, and then you can change your elevation from here. So as usual, just for this project, I'm going to be enough with 2 datum line here. So we don't need a third grid lines. So we delete this. Okay, then once we have done, we can check on each elevation. Go to each elevation. So shown like this: south, west, and all the elevation is here. So where we get the elevation view, you can actually go back to the level 1. So this is our elevation view, the arrow here. So this is the east elevation, west elevation, north and south elevation. Okay, so that's simple to import our CAD file, and then you create grid lines, dimension, and datum line. Okay, and if we click on this default 3D view, this small icon here, you can actually see our CAD file, and then with the datum line has been set up here. Okay, so let's save this project by go to file and then save as project, and then we're going to save as a project 1. We're going to save as my sample project. So we call this as architecture. So let's save it. So that's all. Then for the next session, we're going to start to draw our wall, the doors, windows, and the railing. Okay, so stay tuned for our next session. Thank you.